Welcome to everybody. We start the assembly with the national anthem. I request you all to please stand up. Your placards. Do not change the position of your placards during the assembly. Do not communicate with your co-delegates directly. Please use the ballot message papers on your tables. After the commencement of the assembly, the co-delegates are not allowed to speak unless recognized by the chair table. Raise your placards properly if you have any proposal to put forward. Delegates are not allowed to engage with the co-delegates unless the chair table gives you a permission. No delegates can address his or her co-delegate by their names. Please give a gentle tap on the table if you wish to applaud your co-delegate. And if you fail to follow any of those rules, you will be suspended from the assembly directly. Now, a very good morning to our alumni, chair table, executive board, organizing committee, and our wonderful delegates of Hyderabad Youth Assembly Season 7. Welcome to Hyderabad Youth Assembly Phase 2. This assembly is the accumulation of everything HY has evolved to be. HY Phase 1 ended on a spectacular note with 24 plus events, all the 4 groups working on no poverty, gender equality, good health and well-being, clean and affordable energy. All have raised the bar with the magnificent events in this last phase. Now, I would like to invite our wonderful chairperson, Hyderabad Youth Assembly Season 7, Meghna Rao Majjala, to the table. Now, I invite our very own dynamic chairman execution panel ready onto the table, please. Now I invite the dear President, Hyderabad, Street Cross Hyderabad, Kunal Agarwal onto the stage, please.
Good morning, everyone. Very warm welcome to the assembly. So, firstly, acknowledging and appreciating, we are all proud of all the efforts put in by the Phase 1 members. The events done are really amazing. The new members who recruited for the Phase 2, very warm welcome. It's a wonderful start to the journey, HYA. So, to give you a brief of what Street Cause is the largest student-run NGO running since 2009. We are expanded into 45 plus colleges, and we've done somewhere around 7,000 plus events till date. So the major events, the biggest highlights of our history are dunk it, which we did last year, it was a basketball tournament which saw a very huge turn up. The funds raised were used for conducting medical camps into various villages. Then we did Ekodanta this year, wherein eco-friendly Ganesh idols were promoted and sold. This was done by all the divisions, wherein around 3.4 lakhs was raised, and which was used into permanent projects for the divisions. Coming to the Run for a Cause legacy, Run for a Cause was started in 2015. It's the biggest fundraiser conducted by Street Cause annually. Since then, it's the 4th edition which we are looking forward to now. It's scheduled to be on 1st April. It's supposed to be the biggest highlight and the most successful event of all time. On that note, all the best. Let HYA continue how it's been doing amazingly. So I declare the Phase 2 assembly open now.
And improve nutrition and promote sustainable agriculture. Any new speeches on the floor? Akshay.
Thank you, respected Chair. Good morning to one and all. While India produces enough food to feed its population, the country is home to 25% of world's hungry population. A holistic approach to food security requires ensuring available, accessible and nutritious food to eradicate hunger and malnutrition in India. Eliminating hunger involves investments in agriculture, equality of opportunity. It will bring stability and reduction in poverty. It will contribute to better nutrition for all, especially women from the beginning of pregnancy and child under the age of 2. If we are to reach a sustainable development goal of ending hunger in the region, we must invest to improve our food systems and pool our knowledge, resources to meet our current food and nutrition challenges head on. Thank you.
For the acknowledgement, hunger is a problem for survival. One needs to live, so why should there be a situation where a person has to starve? Organizations must be started to address this problem by providing nutritious food for free to the people suffering from hunger. Food for this purpose should be produced on a large-scale basis as it can serve more number of people. Hunger shouldn't be a wide-range problem as it challenges the survival of a human being. And there is a quote said by Mahatma Gandhi, "There are people in the world so hungry that God cannot appear to them except in the form of a bread." Thank you.
Any more speeches? The member onto my extreme right.
Thank you, Chair, for recognizing. Extreme hunger and malnutrition remains a barrier to sustainable development and human development. Hunger and malnutrition mean less productive individuals who are more prone to disease and thus often unable to earn more and improve their livelihoods. The issues are mostly poor harvesting practices, food wastage, and destruction of environment. We can help by supporting local farmers in reducing food wastage, and zero hunger is achievable. Thank you.
Any new motions on the floor? Aditya.
Is self-sustainability, and that could come in the form of horticulture. So we should be able to push horticulture in these villages which are not very well-to-do and where there's a lot of hungry people. The state also does support these movements. There's something called the National Horticulture Mission. So we would get a lot of support from the government too if we push horticulture in these villages. Thank you.
Aditya, is that a mission? I mean, are we buying the machine or what is it? Can you just give us a plan of action?
We spread a lot of awareness about horticulture. We teach them the techniques that are required to farm the certain whatever vegetables or fruits that are required in horticulture or the flowers. And then in this way we generate a little employment, and of course they'll be producing their own food.
Any points of support? Minka.
Thank you, Chair, for acknowledging. As he said that sustainable development should be achieved. So I would say that establishing cooperatives, a case study that I recently read, that was 24 cooperatives were established, 850 families, that is 3,000 people, were affected by it in a very positive way. Also, I feel animal husbandry and better farming activities should be taught because providing food is just a one-time investment or one-time choice that we have. But teaching them to do it for further would be a better option.
Rinka's statement, because like she said, it won't make any change if we provide people with food for once and then let it be. I think we should try something called transitioning, where we first provide food and then teach them how they can, like how Aditya said, start horticulture or urban farming.
Thank you. Okay. Any new motions on the floor?
Zamir.
Thank you, Chair, for acknowledging me. I first, my motion is to provide them, the farmers who are provided the Kisan credit card, if they are not able to reach their credit card, so we'll be a mediator for them and provide the credit cards for them. Like we will be taking their card names and other details and providing it directly to the system, so that they will have some connection with us.
Zamir, I'm very sorry. Can you just come again? I mean, what is your plan?
So, government providing Kisan credit card, right? So, if the farmers doesn't, if they are not reaching their credit cards, so we'll be the mediators from the government system, and then to the farmers. We'll be providing the being a mediator, collecting the details of the farmers and giving directly to the government, so that they can reach their Kisan credit cards.
Any points of support?
That would be you. But tell me, how many farmers are ready to trust an intermediary? There have been intermediaries of banks. Previous time we have seen banks, many people trying to be an intermediary source, but I don't think farmers would trust themselves for an intermediary.
Why don't they?
Zamir, very
Know how to make it. We need not provide them, and because that's.
It's a known fact that chemically synthesized pesticides are made in a mass sort of quantity, so that's why they are cheaper. When you make something naturally, it costs much more. Organic stuff and like natural things cost much more. But what we need to spread is the awareness on how to make the least costing but maximum efficient pesticides. The farmers do not have the knowledge of that, so we need to spread that awareness.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any new motions on the floor? Anushka.
Thank you, Chair, for recognizing me, and I apologize for the last time. So my the motion that I'd like to put forward is birth control education. I mean, why are we running around the bush when the problem is right in front of us? There are so many people. I mean, each family in rural areas have multiple children, and more than half of them don't have food to eat the next day. I mean, they don't even know where or when will they get their next meal from. So why don't we teach them about birth control measures, and everything will slowly but surely fall into place.
Thank you, Chair, for recognizing me. We all strive to provide water filters, and we do forget that in areas where there is no electricity, it's not feasible to provide a water filter. But Tata has come up with this product in 2012 itself. It's called the Tata Swatch. It works without electricity. It has a purification system with a filter and some sort of mud, I think. I don't know the exact technicalities of that, but it's a very tried and tested formula, and it has won many awards too, and it's quite feasible. So we should be able to provide these machines.
Aditya, what is the cost of it?
1 second. Yeah, so an 18-liter capacity purifier would cost around 1,500, but when we buy these in bulk, there would be a discount because Tata encourages social work and they're into the charity field, so there would be a lot of discount.
Aditya, just one question. Are you sure that they're going to sell it to organizations as ours?
There is a push that is going on in Tata. There's a separate.
But my only concern is, do they do it on their own, or are they outsourcing it too?
They construct this. They have a separate division in Tata itself, which is manufacturing these for organizations like us. We could do more research into it. It's a very good opportunity for us, nevertheless. So we could try for this. Thank you, sir.
New motions?
Anyone who hasn't spoken until now?
Yes, Akshay. The
respected chair. As there are no motions arise, I would like just to add on to my own motion which I previously put forward. The composting toilet, what I was talking about, the waterless toilets. Actually, this is a very economically fragile and water scarce areas. This is really helpful because water is very precious to those areas, and this has a second advantage also. Waterless toilets also can produce fertilizers in sufficient time if allowed and correct treatment conditions have been maintained. I mean, composting pits and composting toilets really help in two ways. That is purification, like non-contamination of water, as well as making fertilizers, natural fertilizers.
Points of support?
Are all the members clear with the point which your fellow has mentioned? Or does anybody want? Can you repeat it, please, once?
I was talking about composting toilets or dry sanitation, which means there is no usage of water for these toilets, which means there is no impuration of water, what we call it, or because in these village areas water is very scarce, like for these areas. So there are two advantages. There is making of natural fertilizers of your own excreta, and also there is saving of water. Two advantages.
That's a good point, but how do you think we can be helpful in
It's very easy, sir. It's very easy. Actually, this is called dry sanitation, as I called composting toilets. It's easy to make. It's already been made in many villages around Karnataka and also in borders of Maharashtra. So we can just implement that. It's also less costing equipment.
Sure, thank you. Any kind of support? Contradiction? Can you please hold your placard properly? Yeah, Mekar.
Thank you, Chair. You mentioned about dry sanitization. After so many years of independence, we've got toilets in our villages, and not many villages have have proper toilets. How do you expect them to adapt to the change of dry toilets or dry sanitization?
I'd like to ask if the installation, the amount required and stuff, is it feasible?
It doesn't require any amount.
The house is not open for debate, actually, you can please be seated. Yes, is that your only question? Yes, Akshay, would you like to answer that?
Respected Chair, I would like to say this does not require any amount. I mean, it just required hard work from our people like us. We just go there, make it because it doesn't even require maintenance. Just teach them how to do it. That's it, because it's basically made of mud and wood. So I don't think it will be a problem, because just making canals and directly, it makes its own fertilizers. Just leave it around, basically like compost pit, and it will act as fertilizer.
Thank you.
Also talking about the dry sanitation installation of washrooms. Okay, after everything goes into that, that pit, I agree that turns into whatever fertilizer you want to invest. The dry part, without water, the installation of all that thing where it automatically goes there, is that feasible?
Yeah. Any more points of contradiction? Yes, Milka. I should not talk. Any more points? Ashwin Patil.
Thank you, Chair. And also putting the excreta into a pit would not turn it into a fertilizer. We need other agents to convert the excreta into the fertilizers, and it would not be a one-time adding to the excreta. So it would be a maybe a day-to-day process or a week-to-week process. So what's your plan of action on that?
Action.
Thank you, respected Chair. I would like to reply to his statement saying, I'm not offending you, but then if you've read about this, there are many villages already, implementing this, and I agree it requires a little fertilizer, and that's natural fertilizer. It's called some I don't know the exact term, but it's a powder, and basically just sprinkle the powder on it each and every week, I guess, and automatically turns it. I think it's there on Google. You can just search it on it.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt actually, but I guess the fellow member's point was you need to maintain these dry sanitization, or what, I mean, whatever it was. He said this sanitary pad manufacturing machine, Mr. Arunachal. Last year, our goal actually sent a mail to him, and the proposal was that we pay 3,80,000, but that can be done in installments, sir. So whatever the contradictions that have been raising for that not feasible machine can be taken care of, because we can pay it maybe probably in a span of 2 or 3 years. So that way we can have a bigger impact and promote sanitation to all the villages wherein sanitation is a little lower. Any points of support? Contradiction? Fatima.
Thank you, Chair, for recognizing. But then again, even if we get the machines, okay, we'll get it, we'll pay in installments and stuff. From where will you get the cellulose fiber? It costs, it's so expensive. How will HYA be able to pay for cellulose fiber? And from where will you get it and how? That's my question.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. All that, whatever needs to be manufactured, is provided in that 3,80,000 for 1 year. So that is not a big deal, and all you need is a decent electricity supply. And now, thanks to the TRS government, there is no shortage of electricity supply either. So whatever material that we're talking about, we're going to probably be deficient in. That's not an issue, sir.
Thank you, Chair, for the recognition. When Siddharth spoke about employment, let me just ask, no offense to women, how many women are comfortable going to a medical shop and buying the pads first? And then how can we talk about employment by selling pads? Why is the Padman challenge on then? So one point about employment, and the other contradiction is, everything is fine, the time span, everything is fine. You can generate, you can put the machine, but how many women will be comfortable going to that machine and buying? It's only a medical shop, I guess.
Yes, Parni. So the feasibility of the women going there and being comfortable is secondary, and I think we as HYM members can obviously do that. And I know it is a big challenge, but I think it is not impossible. We can do that. That is secondary. That's it. If Siddharth, you have something else, you can add on.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. While I totally agree that this thing of going to a medical shop and asking for something like sanitary napkins is a taboo, this manufacturing thing is entirely being going to taken care of by women and is going to be promoted by women, sir. So I think that's not a thing we should be worried about, because women telling women about sanitary things will have more effect than someone else telling them, sir.
Thank you, Siddharth. Any more points of contradiction? Siddharth, before we move on, I have a few questions regarding this installation of the sanitary machines. So, when you were talking about employment, and I just wanted to know about the production capacity of this machine, as you know, as once, I mean, we are providing it, the equipment will be provided for one complete year. So, what will be the production capacity, and can you please elaborate on that?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. Thank you, Honorable Chair. The statistics that were given to me in mail say that we have a production capacity of 2,000 sanitary pads per month. And a month, they say, is 5 days a week. So that's like 20 days and 2,000. So let's just say on average, it is 100 napkins a day. And each of these is being sold in the remote village of Madurai and all at 8 rupees per set of four, I think, sir.
Okay, so it will be 3,650 sanitary pads per year.
2,000 per month.
2,000 per month?
Per month, yes.
Okay, so it will be 24,000?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sure. Thank you so much. Any new motions on the floor? Bhanu.
Thank you, Chair, for recognition. It has been already done in the previous. So distribution of sodium hypochlorite bottles to the villages which have acid affected water. This can be very useful.
Any points of support? No. Before the supporting point, can you please elaborate, Bhanu?
Sir,
what exactly is the motion about, and what do you think?
Hypochlorite bottle, we can purify up to 50 liters of water. So this can be very useful. It also costs 80 bottles of sodium hypochlorite costs around 20,000. This has been distributed to the 300 people in Keshapalli, Tanda, living in 45 households, and 1,000 people near Madapalli.
Thanks, Manoj. Any points of support? Contradiction? Any new motions on the floor? please hold your placard properly.
Navyansh.
Thanks, sir. Thanks for finally recognizing me. What if we can provide tap filters along with disinfectants and order stabilizers?
Can you please elaborate?
Yeah. Rather than supplying water purifiers, which run with electricity or battery, etc., what if we can provide tap filters which are straight away connected to tap, which halts the flow of motion of particles?
Okay, so your motion is about providing tap filters instead of
exactly.
water filters, or in addition to water filters, providing tap filters. So what's the cost in?
It's hardly around 30 rupees.
Okay, so is it as effective as those water purifiers?
May not be.
So basically, this tap filters only filter out the sediments which are in the water.
Exactly.
Plant. And small scale industries who need water, they install small scale water purification plants. It comes to a cost of 60,000 or 70,000. We can install.
Ishita, before you continue, where are we, providing these?
We can install this to the tanks, as my fellow member said. Those big tanks which government have constructed for the villages. People in villages are not able to get the fresh water to drink. They are going and buying the water. So we can install this in our town, so that we can give them for a lower cost or a free of cost.
Yeah, thanks, Ishita. Yeah, before we move on to the points of support or contradiction, did you do a proper research about it?
Yeah.
So can you tell me about the capacity? Will it support, if we spend 60 to 70,000, will it support an entire town or village?
Yes. It filters 250 liter per hour. That comes to 6,000 liter per day. So we can install one, so that we can give people for free of cost, or they can buy it for a low cost which they are getting from outside. So that those money they can use for again cleaning. That can happen.
Thank you so much. Any more points of support or contradiction to be pointed? Over here.
Thank you, Chair, for recognizing me. After we install this purifier, how will we maintain it? Like, what's the cost for maintenance? If we're spending 60,000 on it, like, I guess the maintenance must be high too. Can you please?
Umera, I think that can be taken care of, and if you did a research about it, and if you have the answer, exact answer for that, you can answer. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Actually, that is what I'm saying. Outside the bottle is of 40 rupees per cost, normal bottle. So we'll give it for 10 rupees of cost, and that amount is used for cleaning it, and we'll arrange a person over there.
What is the capacity of the bottle, which is 40 rupees?
It is of 10 liters bottle. Normally, what bottle we get outside. So we'll give it for the cheaper cost, and that money can be used to clean the.
Okay, I'm not sure if you know or no, but you get 20 liter cans for 20 rupees or 15 rupees.
We get it in Hyderabad, but not in villages.
I have seen in villages too.
Yes.
So I'm sure about it, so that's why I'm telling you. You get it for much lesser in villages for 10 or 12 rupees, where a dealer gets you the water cans. So if you're selling 10 liter water bottle at 40 rupees, I don't think it will be feasible. And I don't think it will be. People will be ready to take those or buy those. I get your point, but I don't think they'll be ready if that's, the cost is too high. If you're giving it for like 5 or 6 rupees, then probably people can take it.
That's what I'm saying. And outside villages, few villages are costing for 40 rupees. So we'll give it for less cost, and that amount is used to clean that. Basically, small scale industries plants it. They take almost 3 years. After 3 years only, we need to clean them. So I don't think it will help.
Okay, thank you, Shita. One last motion on the floor, please. I've seen some members raise. It's not that difficult, and I think my fellow member was talking about. We are nowhere comparing engineers or doctors or anybody. We are just talking about. A lot of engineers do not have the basic computer knowledge too. Probably you can teach the computer knowledge to those 12th pass outs or whoever it is, and I think it will be helpful for them, and probably they'll, if not 30 or 25,000, there are many back-end jobs, there are many jobs where you
require that basic computer knowledge where you can earn 10,000 or 9,000. And I think teaching computer skills will be helpful for whoever it is, and I think it will be feasible. Thank you.
Any words of contradiction to Teja's statement? The member on my extreme right.
Thank you, Chair, for acknowledging. I would like to say that we will require a computer lab. We can't just theoretically teach them. We need to make them learn the skills. So we can't.
Teja, do you want to answer?
Yes, I'd like to answer that. I mean, in order to teach, probably we do not require a computer lab. Probably you can teach them theoretically, and probably as I mean, my fellow member, or I mean, I think Niharika mentioned it, by going back to the same village and stressing on that point, and generating employment or teaching these things requires a lot of time. So probably first time you can teach them theoretically, or probably next time you can take 10 laptops along with you. All the members have laptops now, and many, I mean, probably a household has now 4 or 3 laptops. So you can take those laptops, give them, teach them, sit with them, teach those basic things. If around 10 people go to a village, and probably one person, 10 members of a bowl go to a village, and probably you take up 10 to 15 laptops, one person can teach 5 people, if I'm not wrong, and probably that would be helpful too. If not computers, I mean, that is theory. I mean, you teach them theory and you teach them practicals the next time you go, and probably that will continue. Thank you.
Any more points of support or contradiction?
Kanaka.
In this generation, a 12th passed out would already have a basic knowledge about computer.
Teja?
Respected Chair, we are talking about those members who do not have knowledge do not have the basic computer knowledge, and I have seen many people who hardly know English, are 12 pass outs, are degree pass outs. I have seen people who lack those basic skills. So I think we as HY members should find the right set of people to teach and probably go there and give our best. Thank you.
So basically, this motion is for all those, all those people who don't have like proper knowledge, like the basic knowledge in computers or something like that. So what we'll do is we'll go to a survey, find out who these people are, and then do these kind of events over there.
And just so you know, for data entry, government is paying a lot. Like for every day, they pay around 100 to 300. In fact, they came to my college. We as students were doing data entry during some Aadhaar card thing. Yeah, so this will be a very good motion, and let's see what we can do after. Yeah.
Any new motions? Tanvi.
Thank you, Chair, for recognizing me. I'd like to speak about raising employment through teaching facility. High quality teaching training programs to be deployed for training teachers so that they can be employed at a bigger platform. There are teachers who have the potential to make great leaders, but they don't have a medium. They lack that medium. So I propose that why don't we get good high quality training programs to them so that they can be employed at better.
Tanvi, can you just elaborate it even more in detail? I mean, can you just give us a plan of action, like how exactly will we do that?
Usually in government schools there are no proper teachers. Like they are teachers, but they don't know how to, put their point before the kids because the kids might not be interested. So why can't we put in, train them in the sense, tell them like how we could, as HY members, like, I'm telling you that, through internet videos or, they don't even have that proper facility. So I say that we as members go and speak to teachers, tell them about what's going outside, so that, they can tell the children and kids, students that.
Points of support? Rafiq.
Thank you, or sorry for a particular thing. The teachers do be there, but they just teach them something in Telugu, not even in English, where English is a major thing for everyone to be learned. And I say that we should go teach the teacher, not teaching the teachers. We should say the teachers how to teach the students the way of speaking and all.
Any more points of support?
I just want to modify this. I feel like many people who are living in village lack their soft skills, the way they speak and the way they react. That's the reason they're not able to attain some jobs or something. So I feel like why can't we go on a workshop and make them learn the basic soft skills, what we know, and make them learn
you're deviating the topic, and this can be taken under skill development program as, yeah. So anything else if you have, you can continue.
Yeah.
Okay.
So any contradictions?
Question, not as much a contradiction. I have knowledge of teachers from my school who have gone for workshops. These workshops for these educated teachers from an urban area, they happen for like 5 days, and these people keep going back to that. Now we're talking about people in a rural area where there's a language problem, and learning a language does not happen in 1 day or like 2 hours. So I'm just asking, how many days is one goal going to spend? How many times are people going to go back and forth? What is the logistics involved here? How many days are people going to spend just for that one village, for that one school?
Tanvi, would you like to answer that?
Thank you, Chair, for that. Well, see, in HY we don't have, it's not like we lack time. So I say doing lots of follow-ups and teaching them basic things would help them a lot. So concentrating on basic things, see, instead of teaching kids, instead of teaching 100 people, why can't we teach that one person who teach that 100 people? Some basic things. So that will help them a lot. We can get employment and even the quality of education increase.
So some of the members have already asked if there were any e-commerce websites which have been doing this. I have an answer for that, and as well as a point of contradiction and support. So there's a website called there's a company or startup called as Nowflows, where it employs a specific team. A team of members to travel like all the rural villages and cities in India, but it's not just about selling indigenous products. It's also, for example, what they do is that they get even the fishermen, or like for someone who's doing tourism in Rajasthan to camels, to develop a website or at least come online so that they can get to know. So for example, any special discount is offered a camel ride, so the person can get to know that way. Or if any fisherman has got any special kind of fish, he just needs to put up a message saying that he caught particular thing or whatever. That's why it has been conveyed. This has been going on. The point that what is a challenging thing here is that there's a very highly developed specialized team for this. We as HYM members are not particularly sure if we can bring in the people and convince them to use the technology. We are not sure if we can invest that kind of hours and time into doing this thing. But there are websites, e-commerce websites, which have been doing this. So that's a paid job for them, but I don't think we as HYM members can implement this. So that is one thing. But then yes, people have been effectively making use of technology to promote what is a minor, for example, if we are talking about decent work economic growth, let's take a small retail shop, or a person who's just planning to engage or open their market to a wider audience. They've been starting to develop the WhatsApp pages or Instagram pages so they can sell products. But point is that this is slowly gaining popularity. And we need to just spread this message to those who have the access to the technology, like basic things like a smartphone, so they can use this to promote their business. This can be done in urban areas to promote their business. Coming to rural areas, it requires a very specialized team and a lot of time and efforts to do this.
Any more points of support or contradiction?
I want to say that not develop, depending on the other websites, we can create our own application and create jobs for the students to maintain it.
Any points of support or contradiction for that? Yeah, you can first tell your name and then.
Huge creator and app developer, and we can actually create an website for them and can promote that website in the urban areas for the rural areas, and we can actually teach them how to, or we can be a mediator for a time period, temporary period or permanent period.
Any point of support or contradiction to these two app and the website? Vineet, can you please kindly hold your placard like this? I still can't see your name. Okay, thank you very much.
Respected Chair, I just want to know that, okay, he being an app developer and a web page developer, will he be willing to maintain it all the time even after his HY term is done for the next 1 2 years?
Can you answer?
Yes, thank you, Chair, for recognizing me again. We can, why not only me? See, we are changing. Now you are the chair. Maybe next people will be the chair. But can we not change hand to hand? Can't we do that?
So basically, what you're trying to tell us, after our term, some other person will replace us, and he'll be doing the same kind of job which we did. Okay. So, any more points of support or contradiction?
Why aren't people raising on that side of the... Anyone? Any points of support or contradiction? Okay. Yes, Karan.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. See, this idea which has been consistently going on for the past 2 or 3 motions of just creating websites and getting to e-commerce. See, getting over internet is a very simple thing, and it has already been around in our metro cities. And what's the success ratio that you're seeing? I mean, how many people are getting over internet? They're trying it, but then they're never succeeding. It's never a promising idea. So we having a short term of work, we should think on more promising ideas is what my idea.
Minka.
Thank you, Chair. Previously, one of my fellow mates said that I have contradicted my own point. Coming to that, firstly,
Minka, you don't have to contradict to that. I mean, just if you have a contradiction to what Kunal said, you can speak.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair, but can I contradict?
Yeah, for the website.
Yeah, for the website. Okay, even if we make the website, we need viewers, right? If a new website comes in, how will we get buyers over there? Like, we need people to come and be, okay, fine, we'll increase the buyers how we do for fundraisers, like we'll ask all the...
Thank you, Mira. Any emotions?
Just before we move on to the new motion, let me just tell you about the e-commerce and all thing. So for everything you will have to promote, right? For that it will cost you for the ads. So for it is a continuous process and someone has to manage it. So give us a plan of action and not long-term goals. For this season, for the next 4 months is what we want. Let's think later about the long-term goals. Thank you.
In one of the village, why don't we promote it to different villages? And second thing, why only stitching centers? Why don't you make up like a paper making center, sanitary pad center, like different centers in different villages? That's my point. Thank you.
Any point of support? Shravya.
Thank you, Chair. Paper quilling is really something very easy and accessible. So once we promote such stuff, people can get employment and then they can go or migrate for many things as such. So, thank you.
Any points of support?
To get the orders and all from the urban or rural areas, anything for the stitching and all. Like if we even teach them, like after that they have to get even the orders, right? So that is the connection we have to make also. Like we have to also make the connection between them. That's all.
So it's just an add-on to the...
Yeah, it's just an add-on.
Okay. So any points of contradiction?
Gone to villages and did paper quilling and bangle making. But sir, the market for these is very bleak, and we have to find suitable buyers. And most of what we did at homes is that each of the members took a set for themselves and had to promote it by saying that we're sympathizing the people there. So that is not going to work in the long term, sir. At least for the things like paper quilling and bangles, people look into the quality first, and then they assess it on basis of the clothes they have or the occasion. And it is rather very uncertain about that being sold.
Any point to support or contradiction?
Thank you, Chair, for recognizing me. I'd like to support the point of establishing centers, but I do believe that I have some sort of authority in saying these words because our team, Samruddhi, set up a stitching center. Chill guys, please. Okay, so yeah, we set up a stitching center and it impacted the whole village and the population was about 3,000. But the thing is, the most important thing is, we had land that was given to us. So we had a lot of support from the Sarpanch. So what we need to do right now is that we need to see which village is the best for this, for setting up a certain center. And in the village where we set up the center, the stitching scene was good. Like a lot of women, and I don't know about the males, but a lot of women knew how to stitch, but they didn't have the machines. So we need to find out in depth whether a certain village is able to sustain a center. We need that land. We were lucky enough to have been given the land. So we need to find villages which are providing land where the Sarpanch is giving support, and whichever skill we want to teach and whichever center we want to set up, that should be relevant to the area and its environs too. So this is the point I'd like to make. Thank you so much.
So, any more points of support or contradiction? Samir.
Thank you, Chair, for recognizing me. I also been a rural area. I am also from a rural place. But then talking about stitching and other embroidery things, my 6-year-old sister does it for herself, and I don't think that she need buying of those things. Whether when she can create it by herself.
Sorry to say, but this is the goal for generating employment and economic growth, and what their point was for the people who are not employed, so that they can sell your 6-year-old, sorry, but yeah, your 6-year-old cousin or niece doesn't need to sell anything for a living.
May?
No, you can say.
Point of stitching or handicrafts or khadi or even bangle making, we go to many functions these days, and every function we insist on giving written gifts. Why can't we make a contract with that written gift? No one looks for the quality of the written gifts. I myself went to a function where there were handmade bangles made by villagers as written gifts.
Can you just tell us the plan of action clearly?
We can just get into contact with any event planner, and we can put up a contract with him, signing that he can give the orders to that village for the written gifts such as khadi, saris, or.
Do you know anyone as such? Because you have to. Yeah.
I
Can you
know
just
someone.
elaborate any situation, any place where you've heard of it? Has it been done anywhere?
Yeah, I myself went to a function where they gave those handmade bangle making from the villagers.
Any more points of support or contradiction? Sumaya.
Respected Chair, thank you for acknowledging me. As my fellow member had just said that we could actually go to event managers and ask them why would they at the first place agree to help us out. They would themselves expect the profit because they are doing a business, right?
Sumaya, I'm sorry to interrupt, but then she has given an example where the event manager has given those
Might be
handicrafts.
that's one or two or event managers who are like that, but who all are there who would actually help us out in this in the long run. Not just now, but even after this phase.
Okay, thank you.
Just as I said, let's not concentrate on the long run first for these 4 months where we can create an impact. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Any new motions on the floor?
Okay.
Thank you, sir, for recognizing me. So, during this session, someone has said about IT, right? IT people and corporate people. So, how many of corporate people feel that home food is not there? So, we can put up something like food making a center. Like it's easy, profitable. Every corporate person who is working is like he got bored of eating pizzas, burgers, and everything. So we can do something in that aspect.
Like you're asking us to set up a Chinese bundle.
Exactly. But it's like a home food, you know.
Don't you think in DLF you see so many people with those Maggies and all? What do you want us to do? Give us a proper explanation, because I remember you told this point exactly 1 year ago.
So plan of action will be like making some good home foods, like what do you say? There will be some seasonal foods also, like what do you say? During festivals we'll make.
Any points of support for that?
Thank you, respected Chair. My motion is to manufacture, set up a manufacturing of paper plates. It costs around 40 to 50,000. So if a person sells at 2 or 3 rupees per day, he will be earning around 1200 to 800.
Sorry to cut you, but what do you mean by manufacturing of paper?
Like there's a machine, we will keep a cardboard on that, and the machine presses that. And
so basically you're trying to tell us that we as HYA students or part of HYA people will set up a paper manufacturing unit. Is that your motion?
No, for the people who needs employment, like.
Yeah, I get it. So we will be providing those equipment to those people, and it's like setting up a paper plate manufacturing unit. Okay. So any points of support to that? Siddharth.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Sir, an extension to that would be that nowadays the egg trays are being manufactured in plastic units, sir. So that egg tray manufacturing can be done in cardboard units, and there's a machine that does it for 50,000. And I've just searched it on the net, and that very much is feasible, sir. The basic materials are also very much available.
So just a question, small question, like what is the cost of that?
The material, and there's no maintenance on that either, sir.
Any more points of support? Okay.
Thank you, sir, for acknowledging. So it will be an add-on basically. He said about the paper manufacturing or paper plan, like what to say, plates. My idea is like we'll be using the old books, right? But there will be pages which we didn't use them. Like we'll be leaving some pages, right, in them. We can use them and recycle them to make a new book or kind of thing.
It's a new point, or is it?
Like since he mentioned paper, so I don't know.
He meant paper plates.
And he mentioned cardboard, through cardboard.
So you can add it on
It will be
there.
random.
Any contradictions? Niharika.
I would request, thank you, Chair. I would request clarity on the point which Achilles mentioned. How is it, we're talking about economic growth and development. How does reusing the paper contribute to someone's economic growth or security?
Akhil, can you answer that? Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for acknowledging.
Anything else?
I'm sorry, sir, but then when we're talking about what's manufactured paper plates from a cardboard material, we're talking about creating a job creation here. But then we're talking about reusing papers to create a new book. I'm not sure what exactly. Can you give me a better picture or a better
Yes,
clearer picture for me?
Thank you, Chair. So like after making notebooks, what do? You talk with the wholesale dealer and sell it. That's kind of employment, and you are in
Thank you. To do something different. So what happened is, it is not about skill growth, as I showed you, as I told you. Have anyone of you gone through the 7th event which we've done last year? Anyone knows about the 7th event of this goal last year? The paper is not here, and we have 2 EP members from that. Anyone is, can you tell me what is the goal? Sorry, what is the thing we've done?
Yeah, it was something like we have collaborated with a few companies like Adapt Labs and took them to a place and hired people over there who are potent enough to, who's apt for the job, right?
So guys, the whole point is we have people who are skilled enough. We don't need to just go and get make them improve their skills. So what we can also think, what I can give you a suggestion is think where you know, most of you know, all of us that we belong from a city, village, town or anything. You know the right set of people whom we can approach, who really need a job and they have those skills. So we can collaborate, HY will not collaborate or anything. We'll just refer, not even a reference. We'll talk to those people. This can be an awareness program. I'm just giving one of those events which was very successful. Our whole motive, which I thought as the chairman last year, was to provide a job. It took 7 events, literally for us 7 events and around 1.5 lakh rupees to come up to the conclusion that I can give a job. So we've got jobs for like 15 people, For 15 people, 3 different companies. HYA for the first time had given jobs, and we didn't do it by developing their skills or anything else. We spoke. See, this can be a very simple way. Economic growth is also based on people's mindset. What you can think, what you can do or what you can't do. So we spoke to the people. You can find the right places. It's okay. We can do 10 surveys, 15 surveys. Hardly it takes 3 people to go to a survey. We don't need 30 members of HY to go to a survey. We can divide 10 teams. So this is just a gist of what we can do. And kindly, I would like you to just research something and give us something apart from skill development. The goal is a lot more than skill development and economic, like providing jobs. I want someone to give ideas beyond providing jobs. That will promote economic growth, not having jobs. Thank you.
With you on day of your induction. So what we have done is that we have informed them that certain slots for for example, a simple jobs like that of a lab boy or housekeeping or animal caretaker or site supervisor or data entry operator. So we said that there were some few jobs which were available up for grabs. We have already negotiated with the companies, and what we have done is that there were companies which came for last year was Tina Labs, Adept Labs, and Crystal Management Services. So these were the 3 companies which we have negotiated with, and so we informed people of these 3 to 5, around 5 villages, to saying that there are some job offerings being given at these companies. So they went, and there was an interview process, and if the person found that we can trust this person, that he's capable, so and so person is capable of doing the job, based upon their education qualifications. So a lot of people applied. Their education qualification ranged from having no education at all to that of maybe a 10th grader or maybe a graduate. So based upon their education qualification, they were either doing data entry operator job, or maybe an animal caretaker job, or site supervisor job. So according to the Telangana Minimum Wages Act, they were paid 250 rupees per day. So based upon their education qualifications and based upon their ability to convince the HR that they were fit for the job, they got the jobs. What we did was that we only spoke with the companies and asked them to take in, say that there would be candidates coming in, kindly check their potential and recruit them.
No, it's clear now. Thank you, Nihari.
We can tie up with an investor and we can select the best startup.
Any points of support?
A good platform, I've seen it myself, Shark Tanks, and it gives opportunities for new and promising people like you and me who want to start up a business but do not have the proper resources or the proper kind of influence to start a business. So I think the idea that he has proposed is very good, and also starting a business gives opportunity to himself as well as people who he will employ for his work. So I am in support to what he says.
Thank you. Any more support?
Underprivileged from the village section, and today they are one of the largest establishment of business that they are doing, and also Amul is another cooperative that you could take into example. People do not always need to have money to start a business, but they should have the right kind of skills. And if they have it, why can't they start a business to get their own money and also employ other people? That is the point of what we were trying to say. Thank you.
My fellow member quoted the example of Lijjat Papad and Amul. We tend to forget that behind one successful there's a lot of failures we're trying to ignore here. So just quoting an example of one successful thing isn't going to undermine the fact that we're going to have a lot of failures. So extensive research must be taken upon, and even that, I don't think that will produce a good result. So what my fellow member is proposing, I don't think is very feasible, sir.
And also, I was just saying that if you have the skills, why can't you get employment out of that? Why can't you start your own business? If you have the required skills, you can. Yes,
People do not lack skill at all, but to establish a startup and successfully run it, 4 or 3 months is not sufficient, is what we are trying to say, and we are trying to say it is not feasible for us as employment to get. It is, with a lot of skill you can establish a startup, but it is another thing for it to sustain and all. So the startups which you have mentioned, they might have gone through a lot of struggle, and it might have taken for them more than 4 months or near or 2 years. So what we are trying to say is, what you have said is correct, but for us as HY members, it is not feasible to do it in 4 months. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Chair. Suppose you are working only for 4 months. We can always initiate the idea. Our job is to initiate the ideas and, sorry?
Thank you, Asha. Thank you, Chair. So, okay, in case, because you're very keen on this idea, I want to ask you, how would you want to do this? Like, do you want to do the survey in a village, first identify those set of people, or like, how would you want to establish a startup in the first place?
Okay, coming to your answer, first of all, I am not going to start up with a business. I'm not going to tell them, I am not starting up a business for them. It is like I am just initiating the ideas. I'm trying to figure out the kind of skills they have. And then, based on that, I can suggest them the ways and means through which they can open up or start up their own business. And if example of this is The biggest thing is self-help groups. Those are also businesses. People come together, form businesses, and then they do it. It is providing employment for everybody there. The initial investment is divided into many people, and also the profits later on, it might not be for 3 or 4 months, but
Thank you, Milka, for this time. Any new motions?
Unemployment occurs for the labor who work in agricultural fields for their daily wages. So to overcome this unemployment problem, we shall make them educate about multiple cropping system. I mean, growing different crops in different seasons. And this involves about we test the soil and we'll cultivate the crops which can be grown there.
What is the plan of action?
It's just like a workshop. We shall make them educate, we shall make them awareness, and what are the needs which are required for them, we shall provide them.
About the workshop is basically about educating the farmers about different kind of
to encourage a multiple cropping system.
Okay. Any points of support? Any contradictions? Siddharth?
Not exactly a hard-on contradiction, but I think the fertility of the soil also matters. And in Telangana, most of it is red soil, sir, and that kind of soil isn't suitable for a lot of plants to grow. But in case we take up this event, the role that is taking up this task, I say it should have an extensive survey, sir. So that might be a little tedious, and within the 4 months frame, identifying these farmers who are willing to grow more than a crop a year, because there are many. Because in Telangana, most of it is perennial crops that is grown. I mean, parts of Telangana also grow rice and other crops, but most of the time it's perennial crops, crops like tobacco and stuff. So maybe an extensive survey, if done, it can be implemented.
Thank you, Siddharth. Any more points of support? Any contradictions? Any new motions?
Doing something else. What if we conduct a career guidance program to identify? I mean, to just tell them what opportunities are available for the hidden skills in them.
Points of support? Aditya?
Very valid point. I say the point is valid because when we went for the workshop in this village called Jahalpalli, we saw firsthand that there was this group of youth. They were graduates, they were literate, all of them were literate, but they were just lazing around. They were just interested in the event and they were just standing on the sidelines. But after forcing them, the Sarpanch forced them and we went and talked to them, we came to learn that these people are sort of skilled enough, but they're just too lazy or they're not motivated enough and they have no idea of the opportunities presented to them. So when we conduct like a career guidance workshop or something, it would help a lot, it would go a long way to guide these people in the right path. Thank you.
Any more points of support? To the career guidance, to the youth? Points of contradiction? Kunal?
Thank you, Chair. Sir, career guidance is something which Streetcourse has been doing since 9 years. And turning into permanent projects, even the divisions are not being, encouraged to doing such things, because there's no real permanent impact into it. Till what extent are you really, framing unemployed person's career? There's a long way into career, and with a single workshop or something like that, it's very tough for a HY member to create an impact in someone's career.
Yes, would you like to answer to that? Yes,
Thank you, Chair, for recognizing me again. When the member and I said that there's a career guidance workshop or something, it just doesn't have to mean that for one day you just tell them, okay, you can do this, you can do that. It could sort of go hand in hand with recognizing which career paths they could take and going to those respective companies which would be hiring. We could make a sort of a deal between the company, or we could they did an event last year. We could sort of tell them that, look, these people are skilled enough. Please do give them a chance. Give it a try. And then there would be some permanent impact. I mean, there's no point in reinventing the wheel. They did an amazing event and we could follow up with this event too. Thank you.
Thank you, Aditya.
So even if an organization like us cannot help the industry wholly, we can surely do our part to make an impact, because almost around 72% of the handicraft industry goes out of country. So there's a lot of chance for economic growth. So I don't think it's like we are abandoning our own creation. The economic growth that is the industry brings in is beyond words. So why not promote them by in any sort of way, like maybe promote and build camps for these people, because their living depends upon it. So even if it is not a complete success, that's just a start, I feel.
Akshay, can you just give us a complete plan of action? I mean, how exactly can we do that?
Just by, I'm basically saying we need to promote the handicraft industry by any means possible. That is by making camps and like in the cities, because people are not really aware that today these handicrafts are really a thing. Like.
So what kind of camps actually? I mean, what are you trying to tell? Are you trying to tell us that?
A sort of exhibition.
Okay. Any points of support?
Though I do understand where the member is coming from, I do understand his idea. The handicrafts industry is not going down in any way. Like, it's gaining more popularity nowadays because huge celebrities, like for example Samantha, they've got these very powerful celebrities on board and they're promoting handicrafts. There's shops like Dharam being set up, which is running very well. It's in Panjagutta, and then there's Fab India, and then you have Kalanjali. So we don't need to push it. I mean, it's being pushed a lot by the government. So I don't think we need to waste our resources there. Thank you.
Do you want to answer to that?
Yes. I would like to again contradict your point again, saying I respect your opinion, but then what I'm saying is, how many actors or celebrities do you find doing that? I mean, I'm talking about okay, Kalanjali, Fab India, these are big industries who promote handicrafts. I'm talking about the villages, the small town, from where people come, small towns. Those people actually make handicrafts and etc. So I agree. These huge industries hire these people, but then I don't think so they get their value of money.
Aditya, the whole point of thank you, Chair, for recognizing me. The whole point of these, you said it yourself, these huge industries, they employ these people. They've been giving the money with a little subsidy, that's it. These people are being pushed very hard by the government. You have Lepakshi also, for example. The money is going to the people. And when you talk about small town weavers or something, that's who people are employing in Kalanjali or Fab India or whatever it is. And if you read the Hindu Weekend or something like that, where it's you know how the Hindu is, right? It's some sort of a intellectual newspaper or whatever. If you read the Weekend, every single week there's some sort of handicrafts workshop going on in the city. It's a fact. So I don't think we need to put our time and energy into that. I mean, it's being pushed a lot already. So that's what I wanted to say. Thank you so much.
Any points of support or contradiction? Members should not speak till now. Any support or contradiction? The new members? Okay. Any new motions on the floor? Ashley.
Thank you, Chair. So I have an idea right now, but I think we may need further inputs on this. So just a couple of months back, when I was trying to look for a change in my job, I tried to see that there are lots and lots of openings for just 10th class students, or for 11th and for 12th grade students as well, like 12th class students. And it doesn't need a specific skill as such. For example, just recently I went to a mall where they're looking for somebody who can just help them sell in the store. Like, you just need to show the sarees or whatever to the people that come. So there are a lot of jobs in the market that do not require a specific computer or an IT technology skill that's needed. So we at HYA also have street cause divisions, right? So what I'm thinking right now is that we can get in touch with these street cause alumni or HYA alumni who are working in various sectors to come up with a list of openings that do not require a specific skill set. For example, I have a friend, like we have our street cause alumni who's working in Amazon. And I know there is an opening right now in Amazon that does not require any IT skill. All that we need is a person who can do basic sort of communication. And that is actually providing employment to someone. So this again, we cannot do it in the villages because even from orphanages or from even if they're underprivileged in the villages, they may not want to move to Hyderabad again. So if we identify a couple of orphanages or a couple of areas from the underprivileged, from slums, or where there are people who are looking for jobs, but they do not know where to go to, so we can do this sort of a tie-up between, like, we're trying to only be as a mediator, and we are trying to find the jobs in the first place by reaching out to our own strengths, which is our alumni and our companies or different portals that we can. So we can do that sort of a survey. So the underprivileged cannot. So if we come up with a list and try to get them in touch with the alumni, I'm pretty sure this works. Because right now I'm already speaking to someone from Amazon who can get a 12th grader placed. And like my own mate's son is looking for a job and all he knows is basic Hindi and basic Telugu and English. So I'm getting that done for him. So if we can do that outside of HYA, I'm sure HYA can do much better.
Members, is it clear? I mean, do you want Ashita to explain it in a single sentence? Okay. Any points of support? Points of contradiction? Umaira.
Thank you, Chair, for recognizing. But then again, aren't we looking towards rural area people and not urban area? We need people to shift over here and then they won't shift. I'm confused with that part of it.
Thank you, Mira, for bringing that up. So the point again is, yes, this is why I've mentioned in the beginning itself that we may not target the rural, like the people from different villages, because they may not want to shift to Hyderabad, because there is a factor of convincing them there. Like, you'll have to first convince them, convince the family to move to Hyderabad, and that's a tedious task, which HYA as such cannot probably do in the 4 months. So which is why I'm talking about the underprivileged in the vicinity of Hyderabad, like in and around the outskirts of Hyderabad. Or there are a lot of areas in Hyderabad itself that need a lot of help from us. So if we identify such sort of people, I think it will be very helpful if that answers. Thank you.
You still have it up?
Thank you, Chair. But then if that is why we have streetwise divisions and HYA focuses on rural areas, that's the difference, right? So I think the streetwise divisions should work on this and not HYA.
Any new motions? Tejas?
Thank you, Chair. I come up with this weird solution to this problem. Asian Paints, one of the leading manufacturer of paints, I guess, and they have come up with a solution stating that these people hire villagers and they teach them how to paint, like the different designs, something like that, and then they contract them afterwards. So this gives them employment as well as they work for Asian Paints and they get paid afterwards. So this might be, if we are able to go talk to Asian Paints, then this might be a solution for us.
Tejas, what is the plan of action, Tejas? Like, how exactly will we approach them?
We need to go and contact them. I have no particular solution for that right now, but we need to go and talk to them.
But do you have a contact of them?
I can try and bring them up.
Any support? Umaira?
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, if we go to villages and take a survey where women or men, whoever is interested in taking up the job, and take a survey of the number of people and then bring it back and then talk to Asian Paints and then get in touch with it.
Ashita?
Thank you, Chair. Just to clear the air here, so Street Cause is the NGO, HYA is a part of Street Cause. We here work for the underprivileged, irrespective of it being in the rural areas or in the urban areas. So we are only working for people that need help from us. So just wanted to ensure that this is right, we're on the right page here. Yeah.
Any contradiction to Tejas' motion? Any contradictions? Any new motions on the floor? Nitin?
Thank you, Chair, for recognizing me. Yeah, actually, as my fellow member spoke previously, what they have done in the last year regarding economic growth and decent work, why can't we repeat the same? Actually, there are many industries near BHEL and Kesara side. They don't gain much popularity, so they give a decent pay, like 6,000 per each worker. They will only provide training facilities, everything. So, but just we can motivate them and we can even talk to the industries. Thank you.
Will they work for will they work for people who live in that particular cooperative society? For example, there are almost 150 to 200 flats in a particular society. So these guys hire the people from outskirts to do the household works like that. So there's almost 72% of new upbringing society at present in Hyderabad. So that's a very good point. Like we could go to the outskirts of Hyderabad and tell them, like get a survey report of how many people are basically in need of any such thing, and give a report to the new bringing societies so they can directly get in contact to them.
But then, Ritvik, how is that a new motion? It's already been discussed, right? I've asked for new motions.
No, I didn't get into any of this.
Please sit down, Ritvik. Thank you.
Correct connectivity. I would say rural connectivity, the roads, the paths, so that people could travel to places to work. Even though we're having metros built 2,500 crores of all that, but still we lack basic routes and roads from villages to this side or any side. So I think there should be something of proper arrangement towards the road side. It should not. It's not like it's a huge project of proper roads. But I've seen roads in the Alwal area. They are not kacha roads, but they are not pakka roads as well. You can always look into that factor also.
Like, yeah, for 1 year, like, okay, as a part of HY, 1 year we pay. But what about the other years? And how many students in that orphanage or school?
Would you like to answer?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Parina, for bringing that up. So this was the point in my mind also when I was doing it. So the thing is, getting that child out of school an year earlier, then giving at least that 1 year of extra education made sense to me. Instead of going too much into longevity, too much into future, I thought if that child studies at least 10th standard because of my team paying his fees, it worked for me. And I'm thinking of that point, and I think as long as we can support.
Thank you for recognizing me, Chair. Please don't see me in a pessimistic light, but this seems to me like some sort of, the investment you put in is a lot, and then what you get in, like if you change the infrastructure of a school, for example, you're impacting 150, 200 people for 1 year. And then the children keep on adding, and this goes on till the next 10 to 15 years. But when you're sponsoring a child, you said so yourself that you will be sponsoring them for 1 year, and you also said that you're fine with that child studying for 1 year rather than dropping out. So are you fine with him dropping out after 1 year because he does not have the money? And who are we to select a few people from an orphanage? Like, why are we discriminating amongst the children? In the same orphanage, if someone is sponsoring a child while living next to him, like he's sleeping in the next bed, and this guy is going to a good school, this guy is not going to a good school. Why? Because we're giving this guy the money, we're not giving the other guy the money. So I don't understand. You could make the point clearer, I could be wrong. So this was my contradiction. Thank you so much.
Yes, Asha.
Thank you, Chair. So I think probably like he said, I think the point is not very clear here. So the way it works is, you're not going to an orphanage that has like 60 students that are not able to study. You won't say, hey, you know what, I can't give fee to all 60. Let me select only 24 of you. No, that's not what we're going to do. We're going to find, this is why she said there's going to be an extensive survey around this. So you will find a place where there's probably, actually you don't need to find when we do across our other events, you will definitely come across orphanages that are in need of help and they cannot provide this school fee for the whole year. And the school fee for the whole year is not a lot of amount that you're all thinking of. So Shalini, correct me with the numbers. So I think it's like 1,200 to 1,400 per person, right? So, and then I remember the event that Shami was mentioning. So the event, I think, was able to provide 1 year's school education fee for 11 or 12 children that were in the orphanage, and it's not like we left out on the others. It needed itself help for 11 people, which is why the other person, my fellow member, who's mentioned that you're going to do a scholarship survey. No, we won't do that. If we try to do that, that is when we're trying to do the discrimination. So we are not trying to do any discrimination.
Any more contradictions? Any new motions? Final.
Thank you, Chair, for the recognition. My motion is about promoting sports education. So generally, I've been to few schools, like we were doing run for a cause survey, like for the execution where we were providing solar lamps to the children. So we could see that there are children who are interested in sports. I'm not telling that you tell the child only to play sports, because I think sports is one reason where I used to go to school. I used to go to play football. I used to go to school only to play football, not to study, I'm being honest. Because, okay, no matter what, if the school doesn't have a ground, no problem. I've actually spoken to a few teachers in those schools where they've told us that children are interested, but they don't have the equipment. So what we as HY members can do, we can select a few schools. I don't know how impactful this idea might be, but we can select a few schools. We can ask them, we can actually ask the children which sport they are interested in. So like indoor sports, a few sports, Kho, Kabaddi, not everybody knows all of these sports. We can teach them like we've learned them. If we don't know 30 of them, don't know, anyone else will know, any other goal or any other outsider will come and teach them. So what we can do is we can promote, this will go for a very long run. We can teach them not just, okay, I'm not talking about one session, maybe we can go for both the weeks. One Sunday I go, again I go to the next Sunday. I'm spending 12 hours with those children. I'm providing equipments in 5 to 6 different schools. Providing the equipments, teaching them how to use them. Okay, you might say the equipments will get spoiled. What if they break the equipments? I'm not sure about, I'm going to the contradiction already because I'm sure people will ask me, what if the equipments break? We'll try providing we'll provide a few extra equipments as well. And I don't think general basic sports equipments cost you a lot. And we can actually strike a deal with any sports company, not a company, any sports shop owner.
Thank you, Parane. Any points of support? Aditya?
The respected member is a very valid motion. I do believe that a lot of children go to school just to play, like for that one PT period or like for that one football match with their friends. It's a very valid motion. And about the equipment too, he contradicted himself and he corrected himself too, so I mean, it's all chilled out. The equipment can be taken care of and it won't cost too much too. Like we could impact a lot of schools, and when you say you're impacting one school, you're impacting people in like 3 figures, like hundreds, 150s or 200 children. So it's a beautiful motion. Thank you.
Any more points of support? The members will not speak till now. New members. Points of support? Old members or Facebook members? Samir.
Thank you, Chairperson, for the opportunity. I have been also in a workshop where we conducted that workshop on the sports and events, and the children do like knowing about sports. They do like knowing about other works rather than going into fields like engineering, doctorate, and other fields. But they also, I personally told them that there are various other fields they can work, like photography and being a footballer, cricketer.
Zamir, what exactly you're trying to convey?
So I want to extend that point that where we can actually take the person who is already in a sports, extend these workshops and teach them how appropriate would it be to learn.
Thank you.
I would like to contradict Parinay's statement. So he said he would like what will will it make any difference if this thing happened for only a day? I mean, me being a student, I never really liked science. The day I entered into the Birla Planetarium, that day changed my life completely. From the next day, I looked at science in a totally different light. What if all the other students face the same thing? They don't really know what science is. They've been learning it theoretically, but practically what? They don't know anything about it. When they look at it, when they experience it, that's when that interest in them comes, and that's when they know whether they actually love the subject or not. So I think that one day is really beneficial for like most of their futures.
Any more points of support?
Both Street Course and HOA organize many events and workshops successfully. Now it will be good if you organize any competition related to literature or spam poetry, etc., which is used to promote the goal quality education. Because education is not only the certificate which you receive after your degree, it's the knowledge which you pursue too. So if you organize the event in a large scale by sending invitations to all the institutions, I don't want to limit this to any specific school or locality. We shall invite all the people as HOA members are from different corners of the city and from different institutions. If they advertise about this event, so it will be good to promote the quality education and to spread awareness about this.
Ante was telling about the science experiment, and now he told about an event with different events. So what we can do is select a place, organize an event, publicize it for a while, and then take a weekend off for that 2 events, that 2 days, and organize the full-fledged event consisting of various competitions and science experiments, and then other literary events and stuff which happen, and also sports if possible.
Any more points of support? Aishwarya?
I would actually like to support, thank you Jeff for acknowledging me. I would actually like to support what Vinny just said. We actually did this in that same school as well. We had a workshop combined with sports and education. We had events inside the class, and we made different kind of list of events that we can do to improve the knowledge. And also after some time, like after lunch, we also had some sports activities and all, in which we made them run or we made them participate in many other events, and in the end we had a prize distribution as well. So if it's possible, we did it in one school, so if it's possible 30 members team to go to different schools in one day, like 5, I think it doesn't take much, maybe 10 members it's fine. So do it in a larger scale. We were restricted to one, so we did it, but if it's in a big scale, that's better. Thank you.
Question. Are we going to a particular school and doing it, or are we choosing a venue somewhere in between where the other school members are going to come?
Chandradesh, do you want to, would you like to ask?
If we will taking the venue and send invitations to all the institutions, and they'll come and participate here, and if we will select the good among them, and we shall distribute some prizes related to them. Yes, I don't want to limit to any particular locality or school. I would like to spread awareness about the quality education.
I would like. I have another question. Is that right?
Please start.
Any points of contradiction?
Respected Chair, I think it would be better if we go to schools and conduct the events there instead of just sending invitations wherein there is no guarantee that all the students of that school will turn up there. So it's better if we split into groups and cover a decent number of schools a day or 2. Thank you.
Respected Chair, it is an add-on to all the motions we were raising on. Why can't we conduct science fair in schools individually, like fellow delegates said, like individual school science fairs where the students will know the importance of it, and the way they speak also improves. So that can be an add-on.
Okay, so any new motions? Apart from the science fair, library setup, the motions which are completely new. Sumaya.
Respected Chair, thank you for acknowledging me. We did concentrate more on government schools or orphanages so far, but what about schools with specially challenged students in it? Like during our term, when we went to survey to different orphanages containing students, blind students, deaf students, or to even Thakur Hari Prasad's Institute for Mentally Challenged Kids, they provide basic amenities of teaching the students over there. Like suppose they are of the age of 17 or so, they teach them gardening or bakery or basic amenities, so that once they leave the institute, even they'll be able to have a life of their own. But the thing which they lack over there is basic equipment. So what we can do is go over there, give about a normal guidance session of what those people can do. Like suppose the blind or those people, any jobs which they could do. and even providing them with the basic amenities, because like in our society when we deal with kids,
Sumaya, I'm sorry to interrupt. Is it a kind of career guidance thing?
not career guidance exactly, you could actually add it to skill development or education. It's between both of them.
Okay, so you're trying to tell me that it's like teaching education for mentally or physically
Yeah,
handicapped.
exactly. And then they also have this thing going on in their own institute, but they don't have basic equipment. So what about that?
Okay.
Thank you.
Any points of support? Okay.
Thank you, sir, for acknowledging me. Actually, it's an add-on, like she said, some equipment, right? We in Street Course event, like when I was a coordinator in Street Course CBIT, we used to be going to the L.V. Prasad Institute and we'll be doing we'll be converting textbooks into Braille books so that it can be useful for the blind school. And here it's also we can do this and add-on.
Any more points of support or any add-ons to the motion?
Respected Chair, I want to take a point from the previous session where you were discussing and Parini was telling about the experience from last season, wherein we came to a conclusion where that there is not a real shortage of skilled people, just that they need to be bridged to the right place. So coming to quality education, we find a lot of schools, this was even raised by Siddharth, that there are a lot of schools, but the students are there, teachers are not there. So if we can bridge these skilled people, we can find a lot of people who will be, good enough to train primary kids at least. So if HY members can get them to, they'll even be employed and the education can also be promoted. So yeah, thank you.
Okay, so basically the motion is to, find few teachers who can teach children of the primary schools.
But I have a question. Which schools
which are lacking adequate amount of faculties?
I don't think we can recruit people into government schools. It has a procedure and there is an exam going on. So
we can try. We can put in. Because
that happens to the government. It happens through a government policy.
If we can at least go suggest the principle that I myself as a coordinator last year as a division, I visited a school. They said that the student to faculty ratio is too low, as in even one standard is not having a teacher. So what's the reason they said that we are not finding teachers?
We can find mentors or tutors for the children, but then you can't employ someone into the government role.
It's not we employing, but the principal has the authority. She
So
told me
what
that
is the plan of action that
She
you
told
don't know?
if we can just get these new teachers to the principal, she'll do all the documentation and the formal work. Because they themselves showed the requirement that we are not finding people. If you can help us, we can definitely get them to be officially into the school. So a little more of work, but then if possible, this is encourage education.
Any points of support? So
Thank you, Honorable Chair. One of my division Street Course has provided 3 faculties in an orphanage. As soon as the students come to their orphanage, we have provided 3 faculties over there, which can handle 25 students per teacher. So we have paid for the 3 faculties instead of paying the students' school fees.
I would like you all to know that right now I think I'm the most experienced here, and I do believe that I would help every single vice chair who's going to step up. We're all going to be one giant family, and it's going to be a beautiful phase. Trust me, I'll help you all. Thank you so much.
Time up.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. You might have seen me for the first time. Some of you have seen me before, but today I'm on this platform, and I'm here to help all of us and the society. Starting, nobody really bothered to give me the notification that I needed, but today I'm standing here, and I've always gone through this quote that says a leader.
Last 30 seconds.
I've always gone through this quote that says a leader is not somebody who tells you what to do, but he is somebody who's within you and asks you and takes you to places where you don't want to go. So I want to be the motivator to all of you and gain knowledge and experience from all of you. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. This is Reshma. I previously worked for Godrej Swasthya, and I know I've been silent today, but then that doesn't mean I cannot lead you guys. I've learned a lot from my vice chair, who unfortunately couldn't be here today. But then I promise you, since I was the director of my goal, I know everything. I at least think I know everything. the basic problems of a member to what happens to a vice chair and chair. I think I can lead you guys
Last 30 seconds.
in a better way. Anyways, thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today I might not speak much in the assembly, but I've collected lots of funds and I'll be collecting it further, and I'll give my level best to serve the society and to help the poor. And my name is Naman Moore, so please do vote for me as your chairman. Thank you very much.
Behind every successful project is a great team. Good evening, one and all. This is Shravya Reddy from GNS. I just want to tell you one thing. Standing up here as a chair is really a challenge like which I want to accomplish. Coming to HY was a dream and I accomplished it. Standing up a chair is also something like a dream. And let me tell you all one thing. A chair or a vice chair or the members is just the name which differs. But everyone has an equal work and everyone has something equal responsibilities to portray. So if you feel I am the one who can lead it, and if you feel this is what is right for HYA, then please do vote for me. Thank you.
Now all of you know me, and if you think that I'm not capable for a chairperson, definitely a vice chair. I might not have the required experience as yet, but nobody is born with experience. So this has to be a learning process for you as well as me, and we are working here as a team. Nobody is below or above anyone. So let's keep it that way, and it will be great if you can vote for me. Thank you.
One and all. I'm Samiksha from Bhavans, and there is nothing, position doesn't matter, work need to speak, that is the only motto of mine. So if you think I'm really capable, please vote for me. Thank you.
From JNTU, like I'm contesting for vice chairman, like if you guys think I'm capable for that, please do vote for me.
Good evening, one and all. This is Shravya Reddy again. Leading 20 people or 20 to 25 people is really not an easy task. As I told you previously, anyone is not under or up. It's just the names which differ. We will just work as a team so that we can give a productive result, and our goals will be discussed like this in phase 8. And moreover, I would like to tell that I can understand people really well and I can allot them according to their capabilities. So, thank you.
Firstly, I can't ask you very hard for the votes because 70 years of independent India this is, and you people have the right to take your individual decisions. Because it's a decision that decides my position road, and we can get insurance anyway, but not assurance. But I can assure you that definitely I could do better. And you people are here to enlighten the lives of many. It's not the day that never comes, but it's the day which we never invite. Let us all invite the day which we aim for and dream for together. Today we spoke with our voices, and tomorrow definitely we'll work with tomorrow we'll speak with our work. And by the way, this is Chandra Page from goal house to goal number 7. Worked in the phase 1 under the guidance of Manasa from Affordable and Clean Energy. Need your support. Thank you.
Hello everyone. Long time no see. So I'm not going to ask you to vote for me. Please vote for me. You have a plastic file in front of you. Open up the first 5 pages. You know the sort of work that we did. I've been a part of an amazing team. We have impacted 4,227 people, 4,297 people in 4 months. So you guys know. Thank you.
Okay, hi, I'm Reshme. I've already spoken before, but I've messed it up, so I'm going to stick with the paper. It's so simple. I've learned a lot from my vice chair before, and then right now I'm here to implement more than what he did, hopefully. And more than what I am, I believe my team is more than me. And believe me, my co-director Tejas has helped me a lot with this speech. So I have nothing to say. I've already spoken to you.
Thank you, everyone. Let me say you for more than participation. Let me say you for more than winning. For me, participation matters, and I'm really proud of myself that I'm participating for the post of vice chair. And let me say I'm kind of leader who does not make others work, who works with others. So thank you. Please do vote for me.
I was a part of the team Samruddhi for the phase 1. So I've completed 5 events being a member. So for this phase I want to complete the same 6 tasks being a vice chair. So I am everything with you, nothing without you. Hence I promise that I would empower, encourage, enable every member of my team to serve the society to the extent possible. Thank you.
Good evening, friends. So first of all, I congratulate all my new team members
not only team but all the HY co-members. So yeah, actually, you people make a leader when you find something genuine in people. So I think if you find something genuine in me, please vote for me. And I think each and every person are equal, so nothing chair or vice chair. So please, thank you so much.
I'm sorry, I'm not keeping well, so excuse me. I've been the director for Samanatva Goal 5, that is gender equality. So I've known quite a few things, and I guess many of you people know me, how I operate and all. So I've been very friendly to all of you, to all the new members. Congratulations and welcome to HYA. If you feel I'm genuine and friendly enough, and we are all equal, so each and everyone has equal responsibilities. So thank you.
Executive board, the phase 1 members, you might have seen us in the group, the members of HYA group, wherein you post all your task reports, and we never get to be in touch with you, but then all the work, all the efforts that each one of the HY member puts in is taken up, and it's inspirational to us, and we are proud of everything that HY does. The organizing committee and the EB together conduct the recruitments. We take your interviews, and we are proud of every member whom we recruit finally. So every decision taken is a proud thing. So I'll just give you few things about the executive board. So I'll start from Yuvika. She's the HR of Street Cause. So obviously it's a human tendency, we to over students. So every time we come to meetings, any disciplinary action, we are at the top of the tree to do all of such things. But then Yuvika, she is the perfect of HR. She'll never do anything that is out of culture. She'll be on time, before time, and she'll be asking everyone, where are you, how much time, and you have to be here at this time. So she does that amazing job. Then Priyanka. So you might be knowing Priyanka more than we do for a while now, because she was recruited as a phase 1 HY member, and we got her promoted and took her into the EB executive board in the month of January. So that was one lead. So now she's a part of executive board, and she's doing her best. She's leading divisions and everything else. Next is Siddharth. Siddharth is the head of division expansion, and probably known to have most of the contacts. So yeah, the guy is most active everywhere, anything. Next, the name that comes with Siddharth. Yeah, next is Niharika, the documentation head. So see, there's a lot of documentation that goes in the divisions, in the HY. There's a lot of documentation. This street cause is too huge. I mean, you cannot give it a number. You cannot measure the amount of work documentation has. There's so many things to be done simultaneously every day, and everything comes at an urgent time. You want it to be done right away. You just give Niharika and call, like, I want it done right away. So she'll be all the time busy, but then she'll get it done. So that's Niharika. Next is Sohail. Sohail sir, Sohail sir, as known in HY. So yeah, Sohail is the project quality head as well as the operations head. So he keeps a check on every event, like every rupee spent, every person impacted by a street cause division, HYA, E4, Gold, everything. So every event that goes down, we need to measure whether it is creating an impact or is it up to the mark. Then that is what Sohail's job. Next is Akhila. Akhila is the general secretary as well as the treasurer of Street Cause. So you can just try to relate. You cannot even relate. Just try to relate how much the treasurer job is. And a lot of money comes in. You people raise funds. You know what denomination you submit. So.